Alrighty, kids. We're going to be going into the next chapter of this whole thing about how comic book fans suck when they're online and on Twitter and all that kind of stuff. This one has to do with harassing creators, comic book creators, and I've got a lot to say about this, so stick to the end. I don't know, I forgot what we said here, but I definitely have something new to say, and so you definitely do not want to miss it, so stick to the end of the video to find out what that is. All right, let's go on to the next. Number 5, harassing creators. Okay, comic creators are brilliant writers and artists.
Press X to doubt.
What, you serious? No. Yeah, they create.
I'll laugh even harder.
Yeah, can I get an X to doubt in the chat?
They create worlds and characters that fuel. First of all, can we stop this? All right, this is the picture that launched Milkshake, by the way. And what really launched Milkshake was Heather Antes went, I spent all night dodging these things, the fans and the blah, blah, blah. No, they didn't. There were 3 commentators who left, and they didn't leave any comments on her. They quote tweeted, and somebody showed her the quote tweet. And in their own section, they talked about which one of these ladies were bangable. And one of them actually said, well, I like the one in front, but she looks like the kind that would sleep with you and then me too you the next day. Mm-hmm. That's what set this off. That's what set off hashtag Milkshake. That being said,
the crazy eyes.
You know what? I like the black girl on the side. I think she's cuter. Just saying. I don't know what's going on. That girl in the back holding 2 drinks. Yeah, she's got that cuts and no. Okay, so anyway, it goes on to say many of them have vibrant presence in social media, interacting with their fans and talking about these worlds that everyone loves so much. For many fans, a comment from a favorite creator or retweet is a joyous event. However, others choose a darker path. Many fans go out of their way to harass comic creators. Sometimes it's openly racist or sexist. Sometimes it's just mean-spirited. Many creators have had fans say terrible things about them. Really, have they ever been called a Nazi for saying, you know what, Sam Wilson should be the Falcon because that's his identity and not take the identity of his white friend? Have they been called a Nazi for that? The element of toxic fandom has often been weaponized by grifters, especially from the Comicscape movement. 2 mentions, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. And the problem isn't going away. Look, I can't speak to modern, and I know the war campaign fucking sucked. And they were exactly what everybody was complaining about. So there was an element at a certain point in time of Comicsgate that is exactly what this is. So I get it. I get that complaint. But let's go back to hashtag Milkshake, which they're obviously using as an example. I participated that entire day. I actually was tired from tweeting by the end of it. And I realized, holy shit, I've been on Twitter for like 15 fucking hours. No, serious. I mean, I did other things, you know, like Forrest Gump says, well, when I had to go to the bathroom, I went. You know, it was, but it was just people just going all over. And what started people attacking me was I said, can we see the tweets? I mean, I'm with you. If these guys did what they did, man, I'm with you. But where's you guys are going off on with no evidence. And just for asking for evidence, I was a misogynist hater.
Well, again, that's another thing that came directly from Gamergate. And see, it's funny. I honestly don't remember that, probably because I was more on the Gamergate side. You know, and so I already, you know, saw the pattern on this. And yeah, it's a classic thing of whenever you ask any of these activists when they complain about getting harassed, oh yeah, let's see the tweets. You know, who did it? You know, was this actually a mass thing, or was this just a couple of kooks and idiots? It's the exact same thing. They always blow it up out of proportion. And because they are on the right side ideologically to, you know, the media, and so on. They get their, you know, they get their point across, and that suddenly becomes the narrative, and we all suddenly become evil, awful people. But what I will say is, gee, it's funny. It's not our side that has harassed creators and companies to get people canceled out of their contracts. It's not us that have barred people out of conventions. It's not us that, let's see, harassed Jay Lee, you know, because he happened to do a variant cover for somebody. It's not us that harassed, God, who was it that had to decline doing a cover for Doug TenNapel because, you know, God forbid.
Was that Frank Cho?
No, I don't think it was Frank Cho. I thought it was somebody else. But yeah, no.
Tom King and Heather forced Jay Lee out of working with EVS.
Yeah. I mean, it's not our side that has caused people to lose jobs, lose money, try to ruin careers. We're not the ones that started the hashtag #MeToo movement. We're not the ones that have had the whisper campaign going on to try and ruin creators that they didn't like because they may have looked at them the wrong way. You know, so this is the thing where I really get upset and annoyed because they're just as evil as the people that they claim to be against. And
one of these lunatics tried to Me Too Jerry Duggan because
that was the latest
rumor
one.
is that they're going to revive Kamala Khan in his X-Men book as a mutant instead of an Inhuman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this lunatic was unhappy that Kamala was no longer going to be an Inhuman and tried to manufacture a Me Too harassment against Jerry Duggan, hoping that the usual suspects would, you know, pick it up and run with it. Intel and Dark Admiral, yes, thank you. Yeah, it was Sean Gordon Murphy that was going to do the cover for Doug TenNapel, and he got, you know, basically harassed within the industry, and that's the most insidious thing. And you know, again, go, you know, when you get a chance, go watch some Perch videos, because every now and then, as he's talking about something, you know, he will fully admit that he's gotten calls from people in the industry saying, gee, you're getting a little too close to that ComicsGate group, or, you know, you shouldn't be saying that.
Mm-hmm.
These people are vile and disgusting.
Oh, I used to get that all the time. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation with Scott Snyder, and this is one of those break your heart moments where they were coming out and they were talking about how everyone in ComicsGate, and this is even before the war campaign and all that kind of stuff. This is around the time of, like, when it really first started kicking off. And Ethan Van Sciver first jumped in, and Scott, he said that everybody in ComicsGate was horrible people, racist, sexist, blah, blah, blah. And I said to him, I said, dude, you shouldn't do that, man. You're lumping everybody together. Yeah, it's bigotry is stupid because, you know, there's so many people over here, and they just feel like comic books, the characters aren't being treated right. And instead of having a conversation about it, he says, well, you are the company you keep, which is fuck you. No, you're not. That is absolute. That's not true. But and by the way, I'm paraphrasing. But if you are hanging around Ethan Van Sciver, and Ethan Van Sciver's a dick, therefore you must be a dick. You know, everything that you get that sometimes where I also have gotten this one too. Well, they follow you, and what does that say about you? Nothing. I can't control who's listening in. It's not even like One Slick Dude or Rhaegar or Maranya, any of you guys, or even LK or Eric, who are part of the show now, but they started off as viewers, Evil Black Cat and everybody. There are so many people that are just listening in that won't say anything. You don't control that crap. But he absolutely said, because we hung with Ethan Van Sciver, we are exactly like him, and that they are now. And you could take that however you like. Do you consider that an insult? Yes, no, that's up to you. But he was meaning it as to be a racist or a sexist, a Nazi, because he put out that book with Sinestro, looking like it was supposed to resemble Mein Kampf. I'm like, yeah, he's freaking space Nazi. Okay, I get it. He's a villain, but for some reason that was throwing comic book creators all over the place. That broke my heart, though. Scott's a freaking writer. He should know better. I mean, writing, you have to follow the human condition, and to just label everybody like that. Go on ahead, say your piece there, Evil Black Cat. Then we're moving to number 4.
Yes, Scott actually got attacked by Heather for not actually vehemently being against the people that complain. Like our crowd, there's what's this crowd, or what is that? The war campaign crowd. All of them lumped them together. Like he didn't lump them together and disavowed them. So, and what had happened is that week he just came back from a vacation he took with his family before his infant son was getting brain surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point he was doing the melting, so he was in charge of DC. So at that point he couldn't lose the gigs. He couldn't afford to get canceled because of his son being hospitalized and needing that brain surgeries. And that's when they attacked him and broke him.
They were doing stuff around that time, like they came up with that pledge. Remember, they had the pledge to the woke, basically.
Yeah, the Scott's pledge wasn't good enough for Heather, so that's when they tried to cancel him.
Yeah, it was,
and it wasn't good enough because he just got back from a family trip they took just before his son had to get brain surgery.
Wow, what idiots! All right, let's. Oh, you want something to say there?
No, I was just going to finish it off by saying, to paraphrase a great Star Wars line, there's no bigger hive of scum and villainy than the comic book industry.
Yeah. Make mine milkshake. I'm glad we touched upon it. The fact that we had reached out, by the way. For those of you who do not know, I'm one of the 4 original members of a group that became known as COMIXgate. And what it was really, it just started off as a customer revolt kind of thing. We bought comics. We didn't like the way the characters were being treated. They're worse now, by the way. DC has really gone off the deep end. But the thing is we reached out. We talked. There was interaction going on. Nowadays, you'll be blocked instantly. And unfortunately, they use blockchains. So if you follow me on Twitter about 3 or 4 years ago, you were probably do not have access to a lot of comic book creators. Maybe they're your favorite. Maybe they're not your favorite. Ron Lim, Mars, Dan Slott. Dan Slott became very freaking famous, as a matter of fact. There's a T-shirt on my Teespring. It's him as Dr. Octopus. It says Slotto Blocktavius. And blocked by slot ended up becoming a phrase. And it's just not just him. It's multiple comic book creators just blockchained a whole bunch of people because they no longer wanted to have the conversation. Is what they're doing good? Yes, no, maybe? Who knows? I mean, obviously, opinions vary. It's a subjective thing. But to end the conversation with people who you should be considering fans, if not your writing, then the character you're holding on to. We just did a live stream over at I Love Comics talking about how Dan Slott claims that you cannot ruin a character because they're here forever. Someone's going to pick it up. But we also have talked about the fact that Tim Drake, who for 30 years, I've got a short on this channel talking about it's like he's been gay for 30 years and all I do is show his girlfriends, right? Tim Drake will more than likely never be straight again. until somebody, an editor, somebody willing to publish the comic comes along to say, yeah, we're going to return him to his roots. We're going to turn him to who he was before this whole Twitter group came in. How all of a sudden, if you didn't follow this, you're going to get canceled and all that kind of stuff. And this is a normal thing. This is a normal thing over with the comic book creators and the editors. Cebulski was somebody who wouldn't listen to criticism or have real conversations. The other guy, not Cebulski, but no, wait, I'm getting them mixed up. The one that had the Japanese name, I don't see a problem with that if you're writing books. And people write under pen names all the time. Who cares? But Cebulski actually had a conversation with me where I said that I thought that Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan, should really just be a family title. You should keep her more like the Amazing Spider-Man used to be, the friendly neighborhood, because she's so young. And he's like, well, the first 4 issues, yeah, read Kamala Khan. The first 4 issues are really good, but then as she becomes a superhero. But you know what? I am really getting off the beaten path, so let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to do that. Clicking, liking, sharing, get word out about this channel, trying to grow it. This is the way I'm trying to make a living, so if you don't mind helping out the channel, go on over to Ko-Fi. Links in the description below. Drop $1 in the till. Helps keep making videos for you. Helps keep the light on. Got to pay the bills. Like to thank everybody who's already done that, and to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good night.